So, I've been trying to write a play. For now, it's called The Staying Power of Stars, and it's about a guy named Simon who wakes up in this weird liminal space with no memories. The only other person in there with him is a girl who's called Starchild. Um, Starchild guides Simon as he remembers who he is through touching items in the room and having flashbacks to important moments in his life. In the end, Simon realizes that this whole time he's been dying after attempting, and Starchild has to convince him to choose to survive. Um, I've been having some really bad writer's block, and now that I've reached the tail end of the play, I didn't want to lose my momentum, so I thought I'd try writing a song that matches the arc of the play. I'm gonna go through the song and pause it in places and explain what that section means in terms of the play. Um, I'll play the song in full right off the bat without any pausing, just in case you want to try forming your own thoughts and explanations without me talking and pausing it. That's this. So that's the song. Um, so now what I'm gonna do is go through the whole thing and pause it at places and, like I said, explain what it means in the context of the play. Um, Before I even start it, I'm just going to explain my first little bullet point. The watch going off at the start. So this is like the most one-to-one moment from the play to the song. I start the song off with a watch beeping because that's how the play starts. Starchild opens with a short monologue about stars and people in the future, and at the end, her watch beeps and she announces, "Enter Simon." Simon awakens and the play fully begins. just before the song picks up fully, I wanted to give a little disclaimer. So there are 5 memories in the play that relives. I didn't express them all uniquely. They overlap completely for some, but at least a little bit for all of them. So you won't hear 5 distinct sections because they all share such similarities. You can kind of tell 3 of them separately. Anyway, in his first 2 memories, Simon is 4 and 6, respectively. I wanted a light, almost lullaby like melody and sound. The swell, which is down here, is part of Starchild's motif pretty often, but it's also Simon's sort of childhood sense of joy, which is a part of Starchild. I'll take it back a little bit. So, quick pause. That echoing melody right here that you hopefully heard way in the back is actually Starchild's like actual motif. Whenever you hear this, it means Starchild is talking, quote unquote. This is where the fear and anxiety begins to come in, the ticking like a countdown to disaster. Each memory informs why he attempts later in life. Um, the first memory in the play is him receiving a teddy bear from his dad, which, seems light and childlike and happy, like the beginning of the song. But what Simon remembers um, from it is how hard it was to get his dad to be proud of him and all the pain he went through trying to get it. The second memory is of Simon trying on girls' clothing and his mom scolding him because boys don't do that. Simon still defends both of his parents after each of these memories due to his almost childhood naivete, which is why you still have some of the childhood melody. Over the progression, however, you hear the distortion growing on that melody because he is being distorted. This is the distorted version of the melody. Also, this is in B minor. However, for most of it, I treat it like D major, except for when things are getting scary, which is on the nose, but still. Starchild's motif comes in because her role in the play in relation to Simon is that she tries to lighten him, help him see the good and why life is worth living, before he even knows he will have to make the choice of whether he survives or not. So there's this moment of where the anxiety goes into a lighter tone. The swell of the almost siren-ish sound after each time Starchild's motif or the childhood melody tries to play, it's showing that Simon's darkest thoughts are trying to fight back. You can see this here. The swell continues to more steadily grow, and the hopeful melody quiets and begins to shorten and repeat. You can see it right up here. Um, and it kind of creates more of a desperation, like it's trying to get through the melody and can't. Um, and then down here, you can see a distorted version of the melody again from the very beginning. It's extremely distorted, uh, and obviously much louder than the non distorted version. Starchild's motif is back, stronger than ever, as she knows this might be her last chance to get Simon before the final memory, which is being outed to and then disowned by his parents, which directly leads to his attempt. Um, it's very big. It does have the anxiety note notes. Uh, what's it called? The anxiety melody. But mostly what you can hear is Starchild's two instruments, I guess you could call them. So it has this moment of buildup up here, and this tension, but it very quickly dives into something I tried to fill with more of a fear and anger that quickly gets faster because Simon's situation deteriorates so quickly and so totally. Uh, Simon gives a brief monologue at the start of each memory, and his final one is cut off by his parents entering, which is sort of this cut off. Well, this cut off is more of the end of the memory where he is kicked out, and suddenly everything is bad, I guess you could say. And this time, you can hear it in the first note of the this coming back. Even this is distorted at this point, which, I've mentioned what the distortion means. So, again, it's the melody from the start, but with the most distortion yet. I made a whole new layer just to add more distortion. And this is supposed to be the moment that he attempts. Um, I went with the opening melody because he is distorting his entire life and his sense of joy from when he was little, and it's all gone. And it's not gone. It's specifically not gone. It's wrong, I should say. So that's over. There's a pause. And then Starchild and the childhood melody come in very tentatively at first, building confidence to try and talk to Simon and get him to choose to survive. Um, the melody, as you can tell, the notes are shorter, more kind of plucky, similar to how it appeared over here when it was moments of anxiety specifically. Um, but it doesn't contain any of the droning, anxious, or menacing elements. So, at the conclusion of the play, Simon chooses life. Um, it's built up by the Star Child motif over here, uh, but um, it's not the main part of it because it's mostly Simon's childhood melody, and that's because it is coming from him. Starchild helps, but the most important thing is that it is him choosing. And fun thing about the childhood melody, this is the first time it's completed and isn't left open ended or continuing. It has this note which kind of finishes it all out. Um, I also added another instrument that wasn't used the entire time to kind of symbolize Simon continuing life with a new element to how he lives. And then also closes out with the watch beeping, because once Simon exits the stage to come back to life, Starchild's watch beeps, and it's implied she moves on to help the next person. Um, so that's all my reasoning for all of my choices when I made this song. I'll close out the video by playing it one more time. Thank you for listening. Bye, Steve.